All right, Algebra 1, Section 2.7 now, percent of change. Percent of change. So we see this a lot, and we're going to find and solve problems with percent of change. You see percent of change all the time in the real world. If you are shopping and there's a sale, say something is 25% off, or if something gets marked up because the price gets higher, then that would be a percentage of increase. So we see this a lot. So what is percent of change? It's dealing with ratios. It's a ratio of change in the amount to the original amount. So your amount of change over your original amount will be your ratio. So percent of increase, the new amount gets bigger, it's larger, is greater than the original. And a percent of decrease then would mean that the new amount is smaller than your original. So we got a couple steps in which to take in finding percent of change. So the first thing we have to do is let's decide if it's a decrease or an increase. So just kind of read through the question. Is the price going to get bigger or smaller? If you're talking about sales tax, Michigan sales tax, 6%, added to something, well, that's going to make the price bigger, so it would be an increase. And a sale may be a decrease of some sort. Okay? And then find the difference in the amounts. So difference, that's a key word. Difference is a key word for subtraction. So we're going to have to subtract here. So subtraction is there. Okay? And then we want to, after we do the subtraction, set up an equation of percent of change. It's going to equal the difference in the amounts. So that's where our subtraction problem comes in. That's the difference of the amounts over the original amount, whatever the price was originally. And then multiply that by 100, because we're dealing with percentages, to find our percent of change. Just like finding your test scores or quiz scores, you divide points you got over the total number of points, multiply by 100, and you get your percent. So the same deal here. Okay, so let's do a couple practice problems. The first one, decide whether each is a percent of change, and then find that percent of change. So in this first one, you've got an original of 20, and you could use money or whatever you need to do, or pieces of candy, and then finally it's 23. So what happened from 20 to 23? Well, your original is 20. It went to 23, so that's an increase. So we know right away we're dealing with an increase. Okay? So what's the difference? The next step is find the difference between the two. Well, your final is 23, your original is 20, so that has a difference of 3. So we're subtracting, and we get 3. So now we're setting up the equation. So x is going to be equal to the change, the amount of change, that difference that we subtracted in, 3 over the original amount. Well, here's the original. The original is 20, so it's going to be 3 over 20. And then we're going to multiply that by 100. Okay, and then check my math here, because we're dealing with percentages and things like that. But 3 divided by 20, and then you take that answer, I think you get like 0.15, multiply it by 100, and you should get 15%. And it was an increase. Okay, now let's do another one over here with when we talk about a decrease. So it was originally 25, now it's 17, so that's a decrease because the amount got smaller. And now what's the difference? So we can take that 25 first again, because we're just trying to find the difference. The subtraction problem, 25 minus 17 is 8. So now, to set up our equation, our x is our missing amount. What is that percent of change? It's going to be the new amount, 8, over the original amount. Or excuse me, it's going to be the difference here, not the new amount, the difference over the original amount here of 25. And we're going to take that and we're going to multiply that, remember, by 100. So 8 divided by 25, I believe, comes out to 0.32, and you multiply that, and it's a 32% increase, or excuse me, decrease, my bad, when we multiply by 100. Okay, simple as that for that. All right, now the next part is using percent of change in a word problem. So when we try to do this, the first step we want to do is we want to set up a proportion. We've got our change, the difference over the original amount, and then we're going to set it up equal to the percentage over 100. So change over the original amount in a proportion set it equal to percentage over 100. And you might need to set up expressions for the change or the original, depending on what happens. There may be some addition and subtraction has to happen. You might have to put one in there. Okay. Then we're going to solve by cross multiplying, which we've been working on. I think we're good at. Let's move on from there. And then the third step, last but not least, this is important. Make sure your answer makes sense. You might have to add or subtract at the end to get a final total or what they're looking for. So make sure it makes sense. And you have to think about it a little bit to get your final answer. Okay? So let's do an example of that. A recent increase in tuition at SC4 was 5.4%. The original cost was $8,427 per year. Find the new cost. Okay? So we see right away it's an increase because it has the word increase there. It's an increase in tuition. And we've got a lot of stuff that they give to us already. So our proportion, remember, is going to be the change. What was the change over the original? Change over the original. And it's going to be equal to percent over 100. So a lot of stuff's been given to us right here. We automatically see this 5.4% just staring at us. So that's probably going to go right there. And we know we've got an increase. Something's happening. And we've got original cost. It's kind of screaming at us here. Original cost is $84.27. So that's probably going to go all the way over to our original part over here. Okay? From there, we've got 3 of the 4 numbers. All we're looking for is the change. We're looking for the increase. It says find the new cost per year. So the new cost here, find the new cost would be change. What happened? Okay? So we don't know, so that's going to be our x pretty much here. So we don't know what it's going to be. So let's put x over our original, which we know now is 84.27, equals the percent we saw was 5.4 over 100. Now we can cross multiply here. 100 times x is pretty simple, 100x. And then 8427 times 5.4. Let's make that a better 5. My 5s struggle a little bit. Times 5.4 gives us 445,505.8. I should check my math there. I should really use a calculator when dealing with those decimals. But and then I'm going to divide here by 100. We're solving algebra problems here. It's just a one-step problem there. And so our answer should be, well, our increase really would be $455.06. Okay? So before I go and circle that as my answer, a lot of times we just go ahead and circle the answer. But does that make sense? This is where we talked about step 3. Does my answer make sense? We had an increase in tuition of 5.4%. The original cost was $84.27, and now I've got an answer of $455.06. Well, that doesn't make sense. That's smaller. We're talking about an increase. So what we're looking for is the new cost. So we actually have to take, for the new tuition, we actually have to take the old tuition of $84.27 and then add the $455.06 to that to get our new total of new cost per year of $8,888, or excuse me, $882.06. So that would be our final answer. So that's it, step 3 part. This answer here did not make sense because it's way smaller than the original cost, so we had to add it to the original cost. Okay? All right. Let's skip this one and go to Samantha here. She's buying a new softball glove. And it costs $149.99, and they want the total cost, including a 6% sales tax. So this sales tax here is going to tell us what that is. This sales tax here is going to tell us that we're going to increase. So we know that. Which means we're going to add something here. Okay. So again, I'm going to take my change over my original equals a percent over 100. Okay? So let's talk about what we have here. Again, we have a original cost that's given to us of $149.99. They want the total cost. That's what we're trying to find here. So that would be, we're going to have to do some adding, the increase to the 6% sales tax. And that 6% we should know should go right where that percentage is. So let's go ahead and put what we know in. We don't know what the change is. We know the original cost was $149.99. And then our percentage we know is 6% over 100. Okay, so now again, cross multiplying, I'm going to get 100x, and then 149.99 times 6 gives me 899.94 when I multiply those. And then I'm going to divide by 100 again. So now I get x equal to 8.9994. Well, we're talking about money here. So what happens in money? Well, they're always going to round up. They're always going to want more. So 8.9994 doesn't really do anything for us for money. So we're rounding up. This would go up to $9. So that was the increase. But now they want the new price. So we're going to take that 9 and our total cost over here then would be the original $149.99 plus our $9, which would mean the whole thing together would cost $158.99. Okay? All right, the next problem here, I'll let you guys do that. I put this blank, the frame cost blank here. You can put whatever you want in there, and it's 15% off. So they want this is before sales tax, what the frame is with a 15% off. So that's kind of a decrease problem, just like the one before, but it's a decrease problem. Okay? And that brings us to lesson summary here. What's a proportion you can use to solve a percentage word problem? Okay? So what would we use proportion-wise? How do we set it up to solve a percentage word problem? And then our practice problem here is find the percent of increase when you have an original price of 36 and a final price of 42. Okay? So that's it for 2.7, percent of change. Hopefully now you can find and solve word problems with percent of change and find the percent of increase or decrease. And that will do it. And we'll bring questions for us tomorrow, and let's get ready to roll.